Hello again, my name is Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the SilverStone Fanless 300-watt power supply with a heat pipe. What's included in this package are a number of screws for mounting the bracket onto the power supply and the power supply into the case. Included as well is a power cable and the user's manual. This particular product has a wattage of 300 and a peak wattage of 400, which is more than enough power for today's computer systems. Now, how is the wattage determined? Well, to understand that, you need to know what rails are. Rails are basically well-regulated transformers which convert domestic current into voltages that your computer system can use. And there are essentially two different rails, the 3.3/5 volt rail and the 12 volt rail. In this particular case, the maximum output of the 3.3/5 volt rail is 170 watts, and the 12 volt is approximately 216 watts, which is essentially how the wattage of this power supply is determined. Now, the 3.3/5 volt rail is responsible for the motherboard, memory, PCI cards, AGP card, and so on, while the 12 volt rail is responsible for the hard drives, DVD, CD-ROMs, fans, etc. Also, some might be interested to know the amps on each rail. The plus 3.3 volt is 23 amps, the plus 5 volt is 25 amps, and the plus 12 volt is 18 amps. This product is quite unique because it has no fans, but it has a heat pipe. Having no fans means that it will be completely silent, but it also means that it will be very hot. It does get very hot, reaching temperatures between 50 and 60 degrees Celsius. There's a couple of LEDs right here, one for power and one for temperature. When this glows red, you really want to stay away from the power supply. Do not touch it when this is red. Now, the outside, the casing on the power supply is quite thick and it's all aluminum, so the power supply is fairly heavy, and a couple of heat sinks on the inside. I'll open it up in just a minute so you can have a look. Now let's get back to two of these LEDs right here. Again, one for power, one for temperature. They have different states as well. When the power supply is off and then turned on, but the system is still off, they'll show differently than when the system is powered up, and of course eventually the power supply will reach a very hot temperature and this will glow red. Now, right here is the on-off switch, and right here is where the power cable gets connected. There are a number of aluminum heat sinks in this power supply, one right here, here, and here, and notice the heat pipe right here. Now, also the top of this power supply is essentially a heatsink as well, because this is connected to two of these via these thermal strips. There are only a couple leads that are sleeved. The 20 pin, this is the main motherboard lead, the 4-pin and 6-pin motherboard leads. Also, it has 6 standard 4-pin Molex connectors, 2 floppy, and 2 serial ATA. Remember, this power supply is only 300 watts, but it has no problem powering my test system. Even at max load, after hours at max load, it had no problem keeping the system stable. Now, of course, it's fanless, so it gets extremely, extremely hot. 60 degrees Celsius chunk of metal sitting at the back top of your case might worry some. However, if you have good case ventilation and you're living in an environment that's not too hot and you want a silent, completely quiet power supply, well, you definitely want to consider this product. The overall build quality on this as well is very, very high. Overall, this is a kick-ass product. Again, my name is Rodney Reynolds, and this has been another video review. Be sure to check back very soon. I will have a brand new one for you then. Also, pop into my website at www.3dgameman.com. And while you're there, you can go into the forums and register. And remember, registration is completely free. Also, keep in mind, you can find out a lot more on this product in the forums. And as a final note, if you love watching my video reviews, please help support 3dgameman.com. Until the next time, take care.